So thank you very much for your understanding and for inviting all of us here, for having me here as well. It's very much an honor. Okay, well, this is being figured out. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to push a button here or not. But let me tell you a little bit about what we will cover today, and a little bit about me, and what will be on the agenda for my talk. So first, you already had an introduction about me. I've been at Google about 2.5 years, the entire time in search quality. I've actually been doing stuff online now for more than 2 decades, more than 20 years. So I'm very excited about the internet. I'm very passionate about Google, and also particularly interested in webmasters and communication with webmasters, which is what I've been focused on here at Google. Unfortunately, I was going to mention that my PowerPoint skills are very bad, but you cannot even see my PowerPoint skills. So hopefully it will come on a moment, because I've not memorized my entire presentation. What I will cover today are actually several components. One, I will tell you a bit about the efforts that we have in engaging with webmasters, in communicating with you and learning from you. The second thing I will talk about is how we can best discover your site and your pages, how we as Google and as how users can best understand your pages, what they are about, and then a few core tips on how you can make them accessible both to Google, to users. Maravilloso. Wonderful. And then lastly, I will mention to you how you can make your pages stand out, both in Google's index and for your users. Muchas gracias. And at Google, as I mentioned, I am in search quality. I focus on helping webmasters, but more importantly, I focus on helping all of you help yourselves. And the ultimate goal, as with all of my colleagues in our department here, is getting more great quality pages in Google's index. As Alfonso mentioned very wonderfully, our special interest in being here today is that we know many, many people are searching from Mexico, are searching in Espanol, but we have not enough pages that are accessible in our index to show our users. It is therefore in all of our interest to have more of your quality pages. This is good for you, it is good for Google, and it is good for people all over Mexico and all over the world. The two main reasons that we care about webmasters, the reasons we are here today, the reason why my team gets bigger every single year, is because we care about you, number one. Without you, without your content, Google is nothing. We depend upon your sites and your sites being accessible. We are, of course, also very interested in making our users happy, so that when they search for something, they are able to find it. I will first give you the sad example. I have been now in Mexico for just a few days. It's actually my very first time here in the country, and I was searching for some information on a restaurant for dinner. And I could not find good information on that restaurant. A menu, hours, a location, anything. And this is a problem both for me, because I was very hungry, and also a problem for this particular restaurant, because I went somewhere else. That is a bad experience for everybody. And we know that if we do a better job with your content, if you do a better job with your pages, then we will have that local information. How do we support webmasters? I will tell you in 3 ways. We support all of you with tools, helping you to troubleshoot your site, so troubleshoot problems. That means if, for instance, you find that for some reason your pages were in the index but are not now in the index, you can use webmaster tools, as Ben was discussing, to help determine why and how to fix it. You can also learn how to write the best pages for your site, pages that convert, meaning the pages that sell the most products, the pages that get the most signups and registrations for your company. And for that, we offer Webmaster Optimizer. This is another free tool that you can use that can say, page A is better than page B. We also offer information. So we provide for you statistics on how your site is performing. We offer this through both Webmaster Tools and Analytics. There was a great question just a little bit ago asking Ben, why do we have both products? Why do we offer both Analytics and Webmaster Tools? And I think in addition to what Ben had mentioned, here is the core difference. Webmaster Tools are to help you understand how Googlebot sees your site. How does it see what your pages are about? How is it able to crawl your page? If Googlebot has problems, or if we have found that there are some issues we need to communicate with you, we will try to send you a message via Webmaster Tools. In contrast, Google Analytics is more about your customers. How are they finding your site? Where are they going on your site? From here to here? What countries are they coming from? These tools work together. They will give you together great information that will help you make better sites that are accessible for Googlebot and very targeted for your users. We also offer a lot of written tips for how you can also make your site better for users in Google via our Help Center with many hundreds of articles, thankfully in Espanol, and we have an official blog also that very regularly we are giving information about changes in Google, about new best tips, best practices, and so on. And then third and last on this page, we really enjoy having interactive discussions and having events, and also participating in events like this one here. We also travel all over the world to learn from webmasters, to share information with webmasters, but not just in person, also online. So pretty soon you will have the pleasure of listening and having a conversation with Rebecca y Alvar. And these are, I have to say, just from a personal standpoint, very great people that I am pleased to work with. They are in Ireland, I'm in America, but I also visit them, and they are supporting the Webmaster Help Group in Spanish. They listen to what webmasters are asking, what they are suggesting, and together with many, many experts, also speaking Spanish, they give information, they give advice, and answer questions. We have also other online events. So far they have been in English, where we hold live online, where people can type questions. I look forward to us having these in the future in Spanish as well. A very quick note, a bit about us. You're getting to meet several of us, but there are many, many, many dozens of us working in not just search quality, but for Webmaster Central, doing webmaster outreach. All of us first have an understanding of the algorithms, of how Google works. None of us are just customer service people that are there just to give stock answers. We fundamentally understand how Google search works. And from that, we are able to give you, hopefully, the best answers. We are, as I've mentioned, international. We have people in Seattle, in Dublin, in California, where I am, all over the world, so we can make Google search international. Our 4 core responsibilities: we analyze the web so that we can understand what pages are there and how people are finding them. We can identify problems. We build tools. We connect with you at events like this. And then, I think of equal importance, we document all the information that we have available to share with you in our Help Center. Those of us that participate on the forums, that come to events like this, we are the lucky ones, because we have specifically auditioned and we have petitioned to be reaching out to webmasters because this is what we like to do. Our guiding principles, very quickly, are 3 of them. Fairness. We want to make sure that all the information we provide, all the connections we have with webmasters are equal. We do not give preference to webmasters who are advertising with Google, for instance. We do not prefer webmasters in America over Mexico or over Canada. It is important for us that we treat and we educate and we learn from webmasters equally. We also strive to be effective, to make sure that we have as many good pages as possible, as we've discussed, and that we are also effective at reaching out to webmasters all over the world. And lastly, scalability. So, I have had questions before. Hey, Adam, why do I not have a telephone number I can call and ask you my most burning questions about search and webmasters? And I said, no, that magic number is not my cell phone, I am sorry. And no, I am sorry, also we do not have that for Google, and here is why. We have millions of you webmasters, and very many of us, but not millions. So the challenge for us is, how do we stay scalable? How do we teach? How do we learn from you in a way that does not involve answering each individual question? And we are getting better, but we are not yet there. We will continue to improve. Here, as Ben had mentioned, is where it all begins, Webmaster Central. And you have also here again the wonderful URL, which is google.com/webmasters. Here is where you will find all of the resources we are offering. One correction, since I took this slide from a couple of weeks ago, you will see here we have the blog de Google destinado a webmasters in inglés. Now, I think, as may have been mentioned, I am very pleased to note it is in Español. We have an additional one now in Spanish. So, now that you understand a bit about me, about the team, about our efforts, now is the meat and the fun part of how do you get your pages, your sites discovered, understood, accessible, and so on. The first step is making sure that Google knows each page you have on your sites. If we do not yet even know about your site at all, the page to use is called the Add URL page. And this tells Google, hey, I have a new domain. Please come crawl. If your page is, if your site is in Google at all, you don't need to use this because it's only for new sites. There are two different types of sitemaps that you can use to also help Google and help users. The first one has been used for many years, and it is called an HTML sitemap. You may know this by what is actually listed on sites oftentimes as sitemap or list of pages and so on. This is for humans, for Google. It is typically, you click on a link on a web page, and then you see a list. Here is contact us, here is directions, here is so on. Every page on the site is listed. Why do we recommend that? Oftentimes you will have users, that do not want to navigate page to page to page. They want to go to one page and see, okay, what is everything? This is the one I want. For them, a sitemap is perfect. Also for Googlebot can then go to this one page and see, aha, I know every page on the website. It is very helpful and useful. However, I also recommend that you create an XML sitemap, which is also what Ben had mentioned. The difference, an XML sitemap is for the search engines. And I should note, it is not just for Google, but rather other search engines as well are participating. You can learn more by going to sitemaps.org. This will tell you more information on how to write a sitemap and which search engines support it. At this time, I believe Microsoft, Yahoo, and Google. Here you have down there an example of what a sitemap may look like. A sitemap tells search engines, here are all my pages. Here is how frequently they are updated. And here is when I last updated it. Lastly, here is the comparative priority. These pages, really important. These pages on my site, not so important. By having a sitemap, it does not guarantee. There are no promises, but at least it improves the chances that Google and other search engines will see what pages you currently have on your sites. This, I think, is one of the most important aspects of having your site available to users and to Google. This is accessibility. So often we have webmasters that say, hey, what happened to my site? I have this beautiful site. For this reason, I wanted to come up on stage and I wanted to hug Alfonso, because his comments about Flash sites that are beautiful but not functional. This is so important, because if we cannot understand what the pages are, if we cannot understand the content, we cannot show it to users. So, your site is accessible when the following is true: when users and Googlebot can load every page on your site, no server problems. When they can get from page to navigate. When they can actually see what is on a page. Flash oftentimes is a problem because here you have these beautiful graphics, but although we are doing a better job understanding Flash and we are working hard, sometimes we just see this as pictures and not as text. That is also part of the understanding content. Accessibility is also important for users because they want to be able to bookmark their favorite pages. Sometimes we see in America, the title of the page is homepage. In Mexico, we see página principal. Okay, this is not helpful. So when a user bookmarks that page, and next week they want to show their colleague, their friend, I found this great page on football. I can't see it. There is no thing that says football. They want to be able to share pages with others. When they share them in a service such as Facebook or MySpace, and then it simply says, here, I have shared a page with you, página principal. No one is going to look at that. And the last part of accessibility for users, making sure they can do what they want to do on each page, to buy a product, to request information, to contact you. I have seen, for instance, on a United States government site, it says, click here to contact us. If a user has a mobile phone and they do not have JavaScript enabled, they click on the Contact Us button, and nothing happens. Okay, so you have this great site, and you want people to contact you, and they cannot reach you. You have just lost customers. You have not reached people because your site has not been accessible. And so, for accessibility, the most important words, texto, text. The core information in your site should be in text, because text is a universal language across platforms, across people, and also abilities. There are people who cannot see. They rely upon a screen reader. They are blind. And this reads to them the web pages. There are more and more people that are using Blackberries or iPhones, and they cannot even see Flash. For them, they are blind to your site if you are not focused on text. We are doing better at understanding Flash and JavaScript, but not quite there. Let's see, a bit more on testing accessibility. Here are the ways you can ensure your site is accessible. Test it in different browsers. Of course, I recommend Chrome. It's my favorite. But test it too. Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari. You might find that your site breaks. It is not working in another browser. Then you have a problem. Try a text-only browser, for instance, Lynx. I also recommend that you change the setting in your browser in options to turn JavaScript off, and then try filling out a form. Try going to another page. If you cannot, you have a problem. Make sure you not only browse, but also try to buy, try to contact. And lastly on this issue, because you are very close to your site, you are not impartial. Ask a colleague, ask a friend, ask your spouse, hey, can you find this on my site? Can you do this? Okay, so now we have talked about accessibility. The other important component is understanding. So Googlebot has found your page, it can access it. Does it understand what your page is about? I will briefly discuss on the next pages 3 core things. Title tags. How can you have the best title for Google and for users? Photos on your site. How can you ensure that they are best understood? And the last part is how you can use text to give context to images, photos, videos. Here you see your favorite topic, football. It's called soccer in America. And you see the arrow is pointing to the title. It is very important to know that title is taken exactly from what you have in the title tag of your web page. That is why each individual page title must be thought of carefully. Your good titles are specific to each individual page. To give you an example, if you have a restaurant, again, you can see my favorite topic is food. Me gusta comida mucho. And if the title is simply Via Maria, okay, that's not so helpful. It should be the restaurant name, menus for lunch, or restaurant name, directions to the restaurant. And then that title, if someone is searching for lunch in Mexico, this district, they can find that page. They mention the company or the organization, and they should be a phrase, but not a whole sentence. A few thoughts on images. Put in your image tag what is called the alt tag. Here you see an example. This is a very silly photo of our Googlebot, because it's a robot. And here you have the robot giving flowers. So a good alt text for this is Googlebot with flowers. It's good to use descriptive file names. So here, funny-Googlebot with flowers, rather than when it comes out of your camera, you have dsc151932.jpg. Each signal you can use to help Google better understand what your photo is about is a better signal that we can use. So when someone searches on photos of this, that is on your site, they can better find your site. Also describe your photos. Explain to people, if they cannot see the photo, what is this about? Why is it important? For images, music, and videos, all of this, again, use the smart file names, use good page titles, and include text information around each item. That's why YouTube videos, for instance, can be accessible and useful, because they have comments in text, they have descriptions in text, they have a title that is text. And this, again, as we've said, is good. It's more information for your users and for Googlebot. And lastly here, I have some next steps that I encourage you to take in mind and to go home and to do your best as you have a moment. Again, make your sites discoverable. Make sure you have an HTML sitemap and an XML sitemap. Help your users access and understand your content by creating descriptive and distinct title pages. Annotate your images with appropriate alt tags, and make sure that all of your media has effective and thoughtful text surrounding it. And lastly, on Webmaster Central, I encourage you to bookmark that page so you can instantly access all the tools we have for webmasters. For those of you who have not signed up for Webmaster Tools, please do it, because it's best to have it ready for when you need it. Subscribe to our new blog that is in Spanish, whether you use Google Reader or any tools, so each day or each time when we make a new post, you will see it. And then lastly, I strongly encourage you to be a part of our community, our Webmaster community, in Spanish with Alvar and Rebecca, and to ask questions, to introduce yourself. And also, I encourage you as well, for those of you who are experienced webmasters, you can also give information and help colleagues, because this will help everybody. It will help you and Google and our users. And so with that said, now I am finally done with my many words, and I am very much looking forward to your questions.
I have a question regarding domains. If there's a website within Mexico whose target market is the US or Europe, would it help or hurt to have a .com.mx extension?
So there are several different factors you want to take into account there. For one thing, language is certainly going to play a big role. We are, for obvious reasons, more apt to show content in English to Americans because, as you see, it's sad many of us are not good at other languages. I think it is great also to have separate domains, including, if you wish, a .com.mx and also a .com, if you have a distinct content, or if the content is in different languages. There is no problem, even if you have identical content but different languages, no problem to have the separate sites. But keep in mind that we will probably be more likely to show information on a .com to American users than we would be to show the .mx to American users.
Regarding blogs and subdomains, if a site were to include a blog, would your recommendation be to have that blog on its own subdomain, or to include it as a file within the existing website?
So I think if I understand correctly, you're asking about a distinction in how we look at and how we treat information, and particularly blogs, on a subdomain, which would be, for instance, blog.example.com versus example.com/blog. Is that correct? Okay, so in this particular case, either is an excellent idea. We are very happy to see good information either on subdomains or subdirectories. And I think of interesting note here, we do not treat in the main search index blogs any differently than we would other content, because we have a separate blog search as well, but you will also find blog content surfacing in Google. I want to make a quick related note, however, which is something I've seen a lot, which is a problem. And that is, many companies will have theircompany.com, and then in addition, they will have theircompanyblog.com. I see this also with many other companies in help. They will have theircompany.com and then theircompanysupport.com. This is really suboptimal. The reason why is you have established a great reputation for your domain. Whether you have subdomains or not, no matter. It is an unfortunate, it would be unfortunate for you then to have this great domain, and then all of a sudden you show a second domain to Google over here. It is new and has so much, not so much content, and then Google has to gain trust in the second domain. Don't do that. To the greatest extent you can. Now, across different countries, no problem. But within Mexico, within a given top-level domain, put as much of your good content as you can in one domain so that we can understand this is part of your company, part of the quality of your company. So I know that's not exactly, it's a second part, but it is related to that.
¿Qué tal? Tenemos aquí una duda con respecto a los site links. Cuando tú estás haciendo una búsqueda en Google que te aparece lo que es el URL principal y luego unos pequeños links en la zona orgánica de la búsqueda. La duda es Google cómo maneja esos site links, por qué los pone y cómo nosotros podemos administrar para que aparezcan los que nos gustaría que aparezcan en nuestro sitio que estamos administrando.
Okay, that's also a very good question. And so what is being asked is about site links, and just to make sure all of you have an understanding of what these are, I think as he had already explained. But when you do a search on Google, these are not ads. This is, if you search for a particular company, sometimes you will see underneath the main listing small links in addition, 6 links or 8 links, and they will be maybe about our specials, directions to our company, and so on. These links, I can tell you a bit about how they are determined and what you can do with them. First, you should know that these links are determined completely algorithmically. We have such busy Googlers that they cannot take the time to each pick by hand the best one for your company. It's also good to know that site links are chosen, again algorithmically, to determine which sites have them and which sites do not. We attempt to choose site links based upon what our algorithms suggest users are most interested in seeing in your site. So if we have a sense that the biggest thing they want to know on your site is how they can become a member of your club or your company, or how they can become an employee, then we are going to include that link. It is what we determine is most useful and most in demand by the users who have searched on that name on that particular query. Now, there are some times that you will, first of all, you may be very grateful that hey, yeah, my company has site links, all right. But oh, wait, this site link here, it is outdated. It is no longer applicable. It's going to a bad page. You have two choices in that situation. One, if the link is still a good part of your site, but it is going to the wrong page, perhaps it is an old page on your site. You changed the URLs. You made some new URLs for your page site. What I recommend in that is what I recommend in every case when you have made a change in location, and that is to use a 301 redirect. For more details, there's very much information on Google for those who are not familiar. Again, this is called a 301 redirect, or a permanent redirect, which tells all of the search engines, my page was here, now it is at this different URL. I have moved it. Or even, here was my domain, a new domain. But for site links, it must be within the same domain. Then, when someone clicks on that site link, they will automatically be taken to the right page. Now, sometimes you have a page that is a site link. Let us say, for instance, the link is great specials for August. Well, hey, now we're in September. This is horrible. They click on that and they see, we're sorry, these specials are no longer available. Oh, okay, that's bad for the user, it's bad for your company. So, what can you do? In this particular case, you can tell Google, you can go into Webmaster Tools, and you can say, please remove this site link, it is no longer good. Now, unfortunately, at this time, we do not have an option for you to say, aha, but this one is better. See this one over here? Please, please. So we realize this is perhaps some option that we could consider for the future. The tension we have is oftentimes the pages that the user most wants to see on your site. I'll give you an example. In so much of our research, we see the absolute most popular page on a person's site is contact us. But maybe you saw, no, I don't want more people to contact me. I want them to buy. I want them to see these pages. The problem is you want this, but users want that. So we must balance over time. How do we show listings? How do we show site links so they are good for your company and they are also good for our users? And I am very confident that over time we will make more adjustments and learn what is best. But in the meantime, you can only use a redirect, or you can the only other option at this time is to go into Webmaster Tools and say, delete this, and you can delete each link individually. So if you like 5 of 6, no problem. Just take the one out, and that will work for you. And it sometimes can take a little bit of time, but we will make that change as quickly as we are able.